one of the responsibilities that many of us are taking on as we get older is how do we help our parents as they need additional assistance in their day-to-day life. And so in today's video, I want to share with you an article that talks about 10 options other than nursing homes. And I'm currently in this situation as well, helping out my mother. And I learned a couple things from this article, and I hope you do as well. Okay, it's from AARP, and it's called 11 Housing Options for Older Adults Who Need a Little or More Help. And they start off with a little bit of help, and I'll go through these quickly. The first one is what's called an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit, which are those little units that you see above the garages or in the backyard. And the nice thing about that is mom or dad can live close to you, but they can also have their own space. So that, for the right situation, can be helpful. The next one is, depending on how much care that they need and depending on where they're at and what their goals are, is a traditional 55-plus community that might have some medical personnel on staff, that there's neighbors that are their age and they can, be looking out for each other. And this is when, again, they need very little help. So traditional 55-plus communities. And then there's also apartment complexes designed for seniors. And then the next one is co-housing. This is one that I learned about. And the article says that because residents participate in joint activities such as cooking and recreation, co-housing is best suited for older adults who enjoy living close to their neighbors, says Golant at University of Florida. So this is like commune living, and I actually like that. I like when I'm very close to my neighbors, and maybe my wife and I make dinner one night, and a neighbor makes dinner on, we do it on Monday, they do it on Wednesday, somebody else does it on Friday night, and we just kind of share that. So it's not for everybody, but it was something I did not know existed for seniors. Okay, the next one, the AARP calls house sharing. And they use Golden Girls, the 1980 sitcom, about 4 older women who became housemates and made this option famous. So just older people saying, we're going to live in the same townhouse, we're going to live in the same home, and we're going to help out with each other. So that is for when people do not need a lot of help. Now, for people that are starting to need more help, that's where the second half of this list goes on. But before I go there, I want to share that healthcare expenses are really important for all of us, for our parents, and as we get older, for ourselves. And Medicare is a key part of that. So whether your parents are on Medicare or you're starting to think about your Medicare options, I want you to know that there's experts available to help you make the best Medicare decision for you. And I've actually partnered on this video with one of these Medicare experts. It's called Chapter. And what I like about Chapter is not only do they have the expertise, but they put your interests in front of their revenue model. What we all want is somebody that's going to listen to our situation, and based on what our needs are or our parents' needs are, they're going to recommend the plan that's best for them, both when you initially sign up, but then it's also important to re-look at our options every year as we get new prescriptions, as plans change. That's for Part D for the drug plans. And when you initially join Medicare, super important to know what your alternatives are, because there are some things that you can only do early on, like in the first 6 months of your Medicare journey. And specifically for that, it's some of the plans that cover some of the co-insurance and the co-pays that we have to pay on Medicare. You want to be able to have those plans available to you without medical underwriting. And there's a short window in most states that you can do that. Again, the company that I like is Chapter. And here's why. Quick review by one of my readers that called them. Here's what they said. They left a comment in a video. Chapter, pleasantly surprised. I called thinking they would just push hard on some Advantage plan. The guy did not. He actually said that original Medicare and a supplement were the best choices. Not sure how Chapter makes any money off of that. advice, but their street cred still goes up with me because I did not get the expected car sales guy pitch. I don't want you to get the expected car sales person pitch. I want you to speak with an expert that has your best interest in mind. That's why I'm grateful that Chapter is partnering with me on this video. They're sponsoring this video. You can reach Chapter here or at this phone number over here. Thank you again, Chapter. Okay, so for adults that need more care, the AARP article goes on to say there's something called a village model. Now, this is not the 55 plus community that's very well known in Florida. Here's what the village model is. This concept allows people to remain in their homes longer by creating their own support network with like-minded neighbors. Together, they form a nonprofit community group with members paying annual dues for helping to find services like transportation, in-home care, and yard work. I didn't know that existed, so hopefully it's helpful on your radar screen as well. Okay, the next one, number 7, is what's called continuing care retirement communities, where residents start out in independent living, and as their needs grow, they move on to housing that offers more care, typically assisted living, memory care, and then nursing care. So it kind of ratchets up within one community. So they're already familiar with the geography. They're already familiar with some of the people. This is what my father-in-law was in, is a continuing care community. Worked out really well for him. He just passed away at 92 years old. Lived a full life, actually played 9 holes of golf 6 days before he passed away. Okay, the next one, ratcheting up with needing more services, is assisted living. These facilities typically offer a resident their own room or a suite with access to round-the-clock clinical care, 3 meals a day in a dining room, and medical management. So if you're in continuing care, then you would ratchet up to assisted living. The next one is group homes. AARP says not to be confused with house sharing. Group homes are a form of assisted living and offer a similar range of care services. Residents have a shared or private room in these state licensed homes, which an individual or a company may own. Okay, I was not familiar with group homes. The next one is memory care, and this is specialized care is intended to provide structured routines, reducing stress for residents with dementia and Alzheimer, which is a tough thing. If one of your parents is dealing with that, my thoughts are with you, and good luck to them. And then the last one is nursing homes, just really quickly. AARP defines these services as facilities that deliver hands-on 24-hour care for adults who need it with basic skills, such as bathing, dressing, eating, and using the bathroom and getting out of beds or chairs. Quickly, I also want to share that there are professionals that are called attorneys that are elder law specialists. They can be helpful as well. And then Medicare.gov actually has an article if you look for alternatives to nursing homes. It wasn't laid out where it would be appropriate for this video, but if you did like this video, the next video of mine that you should watch is this video here, which is why waiting to 65 to retire for us might be a big mistake. See you in it. Bye-bye.